How it slots in here is going to be interesting. I think they're just going to go with the same arrangement, perhaps a safe lane bristle, KP on the Nature's Prophet, as you mentioned. That should be how it goes, and something else in mid. I have to say the Nature's Prophet doesn't really solve most of my issues with what you have here from TNC. They might have a specific plan in mind. They might be able to run down the lanes at very least if they get a good start. They can start pushing with that Nature's Prophet early on. That's still into a Pugna who can clear out those treants quite fast, so the D push is there from T1 anyway.
Yeah, can't disagree with that. Gonna be an interesting game and performance we're looking to see here from TNC in this last matchup, and I kind of wonder how they close off this draft because they are still lacking their own mid-core. I was going to bring up the TA pick that they could have gone for, which would have seemingly rounded off the draft quite nicely, but we do see T1 get rid of it, so Armel won't have that option.
5 seconds remaining.
Where do they go? Is there anything in particular you'd like to see out of TNC?
No, not really. I mean, they banned out the Ember themselves. I think that would have been decent. Maybe something with good burst. Maybe a Lina give you something. But then again, you're picking all these high cost spell usage heroes up against a Pugna. That's always going to be a major issue. It's just tough right now in this draft. I'd say down mid, maybe something more stable. Perhaps something like a Dragon Knight could slip out for TNC just to give them a solid frontliner on top of that with a Bristleback. You can't hope to burst both the Bristleback and the DK at the same time. So one of these heroes will get their damage out. It also gives you a lot more push. Doesn't care for the Pugna Ward. I mean, he doesn't have any high mana cost spells. He will be annoyed by the Decrep, as the Bristleback would be. But then again, it's either or. Like, one of them is going to be disarmed in that case, and the other one can get the damage out, if ever that is to go for. So I think you could go with the DK in this lineup if you had to pick something. I mean, again, there are some int heroes available. I don't know if they're really safe picks into the Pugna. That it can be a bit of a risky run, and you really need something to come online fast. Like, Bristleback can be online fast, but we tend to see them pick up a Pipe first, pick up a Vanguard, and a Hood of Defiance first, if that's your options. TNC does go with a Slark, so it looks like we are going to be looking at a Bristleback mid again. And Gabby on the Slark, I believe that's how it's going to work. And it does enjoy heroes like the Centaur. It does enjoy morphling, strength morphing. Yeah, there's a lot of agi stacks to sap away there. It's going to be relatively easy for the Pugna to decrep his own allies under attack. I think in this case, you're not going to be decrepifying that Slark unless you know he's expended the Dark Pact, but you can save your allies in that way. So T1 still has a way of dealing with that somewhat.
Yeah. I mean, they do have definitely a way of dealing with in the Pugna. Still T1, final pick for them. They are still lacking a mid of their own unless they plan to run the Morphling mid. Highly doubtful. Kind of begs the question here, like, do you run Armel mid on the Bristleback again? Or do you just put the Slark mid? I guess it's still very flexible in that sense, but...
I think you're much happier with a Bristleback mid. I don't think you want to leave your Slark in 1v1 lane that may or may not go his way. You'd be much better off just having a Bristleback. He can dominate that lane no matter what matchup, at the very least. If not dominate, draw even. There are matchups where the Slark just can't keep up solo, so you would want to just invest the resources to give that Slark a good lane. That's going to be key here for TNC. T1 does close out with Queen of Pain. So there you go, IYD's hero. He is pretty fantastic in that hero. If I recall right, that's one of his signatures. We have seen him play time and time and again. So you've got a lot of value there. You can eat through the Slark, even if he goes into his Shadow Dance, as long as you know where he is, of course. Pump out all your spells, you're going to burst down that Slark just fine. I love that response for T1. I think their draft is pretty darn solid. They've got a lot of great responses to what TNC has in mind. The Pugna to cancel out any combination Tim's has to try out. He has to be very careful about how he utilizes his combo. Then you have Jocam to steal spells as well. It's going to be interesting to see whether this core shift out from TNC is going to be enough. Like the Slark instead of the PL, a bit of a shake-up in their other two heroes as well, but keeping that core Bristleback light combination intact. Whether or not that's going to be enough for TNC, we'll find out.
We are going to have to find out, though. TNC, they do have a lot of pressure. They do definitely want to try and force this to a game number 3 if they can. T1 with their own draft looking pretty good, looking very scary, and it looks like it's really going to be almost a reversal of roles here as to whether In Your Dream can really get the pace going with his own Queen of Pain and buy Miracle a bit more space on the Morphling this time around. Not to say that Gabby won't still need the space, he definitely will on the Slark, but you could definitely make the argument the Slark does come online a lot faster than a PL would, as we saw last game. It's going to be an interesting one from T1 and TNC. You know, any game that the Tim's Earthshaker is here, regardless of what it's playing against, I always get excited, John. It's a Tim's Earthshaker.
Yeah, it's always great to watch. I mean, Tim's is fantastic on that hero. He has a lot in his back, though.
Yeah.
There is a lot that he has to get done for his team here. But if he applies that pressure from the laning phase, if they shut down Miracle, ensure that the Morphling can't get good farm, we have seen what happens when Morphlings fall behind. They just don't recover too well when they get shut out completely. They can go back to that jungle just fine, but there's a massive window where TNC can just kind of exploit that.
It looks like TNC are actually still remaining the favorites in terms of betting odds going into this second matchup. So, although T1 does have lower odds than last game, so definitely has been adjusted a little bit, but TNC still the favorites for this secondary match. T1 looking to prove those odds wrong if they can. Certainly did in game 1, that's for sure. I just wonder how much space Miracle's going to be able to find on this Morphling this time around as well. Like last time on the Void, he just dominated the lane. It wasn't even close. This time on a Morphling, I'd argue is probably a little bit harder than, say, a Void who has Time Walk. But only time will tell.
I like that they're already kind of switching that out. I think Miracle's better off up against another safe laner, as we saw last time as well. He played a Void against the PL, this time he's playing the Morphling up against the Slark. Still not the cleanest lane if Gabby is going to be trading well, although it looks like TNC knows what's up. They're switching Gabby out as well.
They definitely don't want to have that bad matchup again. Definitely not this time. I mean, we saw it last game, they didn't switch and they suffered. It's not like there was a good option anyway. Well, actually, mid lane Armel, we're going to go for a very early creep pull here. In Your Dream, gonna try and harass him out with Shadow Poison, and it looks like he will have Jokam pulling the creep wave away from the T1 tower, though Armel, are you really going to stack these creeps up like this? He is. He's going to go for the double stack now, but he is taking a lot of damage from In Your Dream. In Your Dream really trying to slow this down as Quill Sprays are still stacking up on In Your Dream, but that'll be first blood coming out. I think he understood he probably was going to die there, but he wants to set up the creep equilibrium mid lane for himself, and the problem was Jokam was there on the Rubik, and he's kind of set it so it still works out for the Queen of Pain.
That was a really good read coming out from T1. This is something Bristlebacks do like to do. It's always that first mana pool that's key with Bristleback. You don't find that killed, you do manage to delay the wave. It is kind of equalized by Jokam. In the end, you're not getting anything. Armel is stuck here with a few EXP points in, and IYD is just straight into level 2.
Yeah, it's a really good idea from Armel. Not really panning out the way he would have liked, but he will find the third creep wave. Jokam's going to stick around on the position 4 Rubik. I guess the one thing... Oh, Tim's does find a courier for himself. Armel finds one as well, and some good items on one of those couriers. I know that. A lot of regen was available on one of them. Now Polison's going to join into Armel, and you know, the thing is with this strategy is your farm escalates really quick as a Bristleback if you just keep doing this. As you're not really missing any CS. Only thing is, it seems as though T1 knows how to deal with it, though top lane, or rather bot lane Miracle, is freely just sitting around up against KB. Top lane Gabby Going to be chased down on the Slark, and looks like he'll be okay. And look back to Armel now. He's denying himself off to the tier 2. That'll give a kill away to Polison. Is he really going to continue to reset himself like this? Because I feel like it's not going to be as effective as you would think.
It really depends on how confident he feels now. He does have a bottle up and running, so he has a little bit more regen to play with. Is at level 3, does have level 2 cold sprays up, so he can kind of pump the damage back to IYD. Now, IYD lost his courier, lost his regen, so he has a bit of a window where he can apply a bit more harass, although the courier does respond. Should be able to fly out with what he needs. Looks like he is just going to wait for the bottled gold, though. So just a little bit more waiting for IYD still. Armel with full mana, full HP, bottle charges up, is going to be happy to just play the lane normally.
Armel's not.
No.
Armel is going straight towards that wave behind, and he's going to do it again. Without the courier, In Your Dream has no regen. He's kind of stuck.
Courier might die. Well, does
knows.
stop it in time.
How do you get it past Armel?
You don't. Well, now you could.
Quickly bring it over In Your Dream. Just going to be sitting there very low. March will rotate now on the Keeper of the Light, but Polison is also going to rotate on the Pugner. Armel is being very, very disruptive. I mean, this play, even though it doesn't look amazing for Armel, he does now have 20 last hits, and to make matters even worse for T1, you look at Miracle on the Morphling, he's not having the best of times. He is struggling a little bit up against KP.
He's struggling, but you could say the same thing about Gabby. He's at 12-0, and they have kind of left Miracle to handle this lane by himself. Up against a Nature's Prophet, can really punish him when he shifts into any of his forms. NP just does a lot of damage. He has to summons as well. It's hard for Miracle to really sustain that lane. I'm surprised he's actually even finding it, really. And
Well, now March is going to pull the wave. They're pulling waves from 2 lanes now, John. We'll see Polison come in with Jokam. In Your Dream, of course, still behind them. He does have level 3 Scream, and he will go straight onto Armel. Armel really wants that creep wave before he dies. He will not get it, however. March trying to secure a courier, but he also dies, and that is going to be a lot of XP being denied from the Bristle.
Definitely. I think there's a certain point where you really ought to stop this, because sure, you're finding last hits in the Bristle. You take a look at In Your Dream, he's at 32-8. He's at level 6 on Queen of Pain. And you compare it to their Bristlebacks, still a full level behind. 26 last hit, sure. But that's still a massive amount behind it. Queen of Pain, although I don't believe there's really too much Armel can do now. He is at level 5. This is the point where he should be able to just stay in the lane, normally. And it does look like they are switching out to kind of apply that pressure normally, give their side lanes a bit more support. Gabby, again, on that Slark. If you thought Miracle was doing bad, Gabby's farm is really just no better, in fact, a bit worse, so they're going to need to help out their own Slark to find that early farm.
And Forev's not making it any easier. He just moves forward again on the Centaur and just continues to dish out harassment onto Gabby. Gabby will slowly but surely start to catch up. Mid lane is still a complete circus here as Polison and Tims have joined in once again. And they are really not allowing Armel any space. He's still yet to hit level 6. He should with this last range creep, though. In Your Dream may go for the deny. He does not. Now a Stampede. Top lane. They are going to chase March on the Keeper of the Light. And that seems to be the game plan here for Forev. If he sees March, he's committing everything.
Just some former teammate, rough play there. Still, it's not like they're going to be finding any sort of kill anyway. I think they're just taking this opportunity. They know that TNC is just trying to secure farm. Not going to be too many opportunities to find those cores out. Gabby is just in a really rough spot, right? He's walking back to base. He's going to be able to TP back in. But the farm game for both of these pos 1 cores has been on the backseat. Miracle's not doing great. Gabby's not doing great. Focus has been on IYD and Armel, and to an extent, KP and Forev. But these 2 cores, these 2 pos 1s, they don't flash farm particularly well. You can argue that the Slark can clear out camps a bit fast. He certainly can, but I mean, Gabby's at level, even Miracle's at level 6.
Miracle still being disrupted here by Tim's. Looks like they won't really be able to disrupt him enough. Miracle just gets back to farming. He's going to be okay. You already mentioned the level difference. It's a 2-level difference between these POS 1s. And in fact, we should just have a look at those hero levels right now. And as you can see, it's really favoring the side of T1. As you do have 3 cores above that level 6 mark. Unfortunately for TNC, they only have 2. And that does matter, quite substantial.
Definitely. I think the game plan right now for TNC is to try to mitigate their losses. They have invested heavily on Armel to try to find something, although Tim's been caught out.
Yeah, this is not great for the Earthshaker. He does have Sonic Wave on In Your Dream. He won't need to commit it. He will just go ahead and scream again. That's going to be a killing spree now for In Your Dream. And, you know, John, you said he does play a very nice Queen of Pain when we were in the drafting phase. If you're going to feed him kills like this as well, you know, he's top of the net worth board right now. This is not safe for TNC.
No, definitely not safe. They're really going to need a return on that investment on Armel. Again, they spent a lot of that early game there. They have actually rotated Gabby down mid. Up top for him.
Forev. Fisher going to be there. Now KB going to join in. They just want to find a kill across the map, and Forev should go down here, and does. So at least they get a nice pickup for themselves and even find a shovel on their way out. And looks like they're going to try and set up for that top tier 1 tower. In Your Dream, however, will be there to defend. Does have Sonic Wave again. They will force out the Blink with the Sprout. We've got Joe Cam there as well, though Joe Cam's really only sitting at level 4, but I guess the at least his aura does help the In Your Dream Queen of Pain. In fact, KB gonna get jumped on. Shadow Strike not being thrown out yet, but there it is, finally coming out. Now March trying to give Armel some Chakra Magic so he can keep fighting on this Bristleback, and In Your Dream, he's gone too far. He does manage to barely blink away, but Forev, he misses the hoof stop on the Centaur, and this should mean he dies again. As Armel will be able to clean him up with the Bristleback. And I don't believe they'll be able to actually defend this this top lane T1. I think they have to just let it go. On the brighter side, however, Miracle is all the way down bot by himself, and he will be able to just clear out that T1 and get both bounty runes.
Yeah, you are getting a lot of gold out of this from T1, at very least, onto your Morphling. The same could be said about Gabby on TNC, right? Like, his Slark has been left alone while all of that engagement was happening up top. So this time distraction is buying space for both our both of our POS 1s to find the farm they need. And it's still a catch-up game for both. They are still heavily behind everyone else, heavily behind every single core. Although you are starting to see some of that investment in Armel really start to pay off. He's just about to finish one of his build-ups first. It does look like a Vanguard is going to be flying out first. So he's just going to be that much tankier, that much harder to deal with. Should give a lot more for TNC to play with.
I take it back my previous statement, by the way. TNC did manage to get 4 bounty runes as KP just TP'd in, and now mid lane. Forev gonna get jumped on again. Armel just slowing him down with the Nasal Goo, and well, In Your Dream falling very low with the Nature's Wrath that came out from KP. They will not be able to secure that mid tier 1, but it does get very, very low. Meanwhile, both side lanes have lost their own tier 1s. And again, on the brighter side for T1, they are getting Miracle quite a bit of free farm, where Gabby is kind of just stuck in his own jungle right now. I suppose clearing out stacks is almost just as good as clearing out creep waves. And you know, considering the In Your Dream Queen of Pain is at such a high level right now, and I kind of expected he would be a bit more aggressive and try to find team fights, especially with Sonic Wave, but we haven't really seen him commit it yet. We're almost 12 minutes into the game, and he's currently up top farming again.
Yeah, it's been a rather big slowdown here from T1. They had a lot of kills earlier on. That was more in response to TNC playing really far forward, I think. And T1 probably just want to buy time for the moment. If they don't get the fight outs, that's fine. I think they're kind of weary of potentially jumping into Armel. Again, he's a bit tanky. They don't quite have as much sustainable burst. They do not have any strict cooldowns to play around. Like, sure, you're leaving that Sonic Wave up, but you're not really pressured to use it every single time. So I think that's explaining the slower pace of the game here for T1, although Armel.
Armel gets the Decrepify up. It's a lot of magic damage, though. Where's the Sonic Wave? Armel does finally throw it out. He wanted to hold on just in case he didn't need to, but his team almost dies in the process of them waiting for it, and well, at least they do get the Armel kill. In fact, they're going down bot now, trying to find KP on the Nature's Prophet, but he's TP'd out. Instead, they should be able to try and secure this bot T2 tower.
Yeah, that's going to be a nice pickup for T1. We kind of saw them set the pace like this last time as well, just slowly clearing out that bot lane and slowly clearing out the mid to take entire control of that bottom jungle, and from there really just start farming up and shutting down the map. TNC, they've got to find a way of getting control back. They still are waiting for a lot of things to come online. Gabby still hasn't finished up that Diffusal Blade just yet. And we do have the blink up on Tim's, though. So they have that opportunity with a big Echo Slam to really make the plays. I think we should be expecting TNC to start taking initiative soon with that item.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
We might have his chance very, very soon, as Forever again showing mid lane. Armel going to start with the goo. KP going to TP in. They really want to try and chase for this Centaur kill. They don't want to allow Forever to have a great game like he did last time around. Forever again going to be sprouting up. Armel just taking the front lines, but now the Hoof Stomp comes out, but they'll commit Will-O-Wisp. They just really are just going to commit everything, as now they found Polison Tims just jumping exactly where he needed to. And they even plant the GG branch. They will go after the mid-tier 1 tower.
Should be a fairly straightforward tower to take. T1 this time around just do not have big teamfight spells to play with. Nothing like the Chronosphere, nothing like the Egg to really time themselves, so they don't have that potential in the big 5v5s. This time around, TNC has superior control with that Will-O-Wisp, and T1 is going to have to bleed some ground.
JoeCam. A little bit out of position. They do have an observer ward scouting him out. JoeCam, he does see Armel. They're just going to secure the bounty runes once again. Although Echo, top lane, they found in your dreams. Tims, again on the Earthshaker, just getting in there with the Fisher, the Enchant Totem, and the Echo. Just perma-stunning the Queen of Pain, and there's just nothing you can do about it.
Yeah, that's a really big pick-off for TNC, just managing to find that big target. And T1 now are on the back foot. They had the kill advantage, they had 1k net worth advantage, which wasn't too much. That has swung back to TNC now, less than 1k going their way. And they really need to kind of try to tie it up here, T1. They're still waiting for their morph to be up, although Armel is caught in some damage from Miracle, not quite enough.
He is, but here comes KP. Does have the Spirit Vessel up now on the Prophet, so you have ways of dealing with the Morphling, but KP commits the Sprout, waveform is used up, and they just back off. To be in all fairness though, Gabby has had enough time now that he has a Diffusal Blade up. So it looks like we may start seeing the Slark get a little bit aggressive with his team if he really wants to, and they have found an Invis Rune. Armel will be the one to pick that one up, and I wouldn't blame them for starting a team fight. They're going straight towards Forever again on that Centaur. They won't quite catch him out of position. That being said, Forever doesn't really have a Stampede right now. He is on cooldown for another 30 seconds. Polison will help him out with the Decrepify. Oh, in the Radiant side jungle, a lot of heroes just kind of roaming around. There could be a huge team fight if they so wish, and TNC, they don't have the Echo, so it looks like it's a pretty decent time for T1 to try for it. Just how do you initiate onto that high ground? Try the smoke. So Armel is just constantly in the front, ensuring they can't really make their way up. Forever will at least get vision with that outpost, and now they know In Your Dream does break his smoke and jump in. Mel, again, not really the target you want to go for. And T1 looks like they're done with this. They just could not find the opening.
Bit of wasted time there from T1. Then again, you could say the same about TNC. At the very least, KP should be able to TP out. Nope.
No, Adaptive Strike is going to be there. Now Jocam does come in on the Rubik. He goes for another TP, and they did not save the lift. Jocam used it very early on, after the first TP cancellation. While that was happening, bot lane, where the hell did the Pugna go down? It's Tim's once again on the Earthshaker, just cleaning up that support Pugna.
Yeah, T1 having a lot of issues here. TNC definitely starting to pick up that pace. They still are taking it slow, you know, they're not forcing their hand just yet, but they're finding a lot on the map. They might be able to find 4 if he does come in for the twin as well.
He doesn't have Stampede. He does use the Crimson Guard. I don't think it's going to really be enough. And yeah, Tim's, again, he's just always in the right position as an Earthshaker. Gets a Fisher off, cancels the TP, and it's now a 7-7. But more importantly, TNC with a 3k net worth lead, and they really do have control of this game. In fact, who are they going on now? It is Jocam, though. Echo, In Your Dream, getting caught out on the quap. Can they hold him down long enough? They got to pounce. I don't think that's enough, although the Will-O-Wisp will be. They even found Miracle's Courier, which did have the Pupil's Gift on it. It's just getting from bad to worse for T1. They just really aren't getting any breathing room.
Definitely. Oh.
Yeah, Armel's not done. Jocam shows his face. They do Decrepify to save him for now, but can you really save them as Tims gets a beautiful Fisher off. Pollison's falling low as well on the Pugna. He goes down. Gabby could be in trouble, though he'll just Shadow Dance and try to fight back. And TNC with a 5k lead now.
Yeah, they've gotten control on the map. They've gotten a significant net worth lead. They're super confident. They're smoking up. They want to keep that aggression up. They know they can find more kills here. And T1, there's really just not much they can do.
Rev diffused up. Tim's again, just with all the control. The Stampede comes out, but doesn't matter. I don't think it will, as Forever is starting to get surrounded. However, KP gets blown up by Miracle. Now they do find the Centaur, but Armel is losing a lot of HP. And Miracle, who is he morphed into? No one, apparently. It's on cooldown. But Tims, he gets another Fisher, and Pollison will lose his own life, and now Miracle. He's gone too far. Tims has all the control in the world. The waveform will come out in time. So I guess at least they found the Nature's Prophet. They are still very, very far behind in this game.
Yeah, they've got... Oh.
Blink's away, but now they know the Blink's on cooldown. Tim's again rotating over. Like In Your Dream, will be okay this time. What do you do if you're T1 in this matchup, John? It's getting harder and harder as time goes on.
You're relying largely on Miracle to find his farm. He's just not online. He's not ready yet. He has a Yasha, that's it. He's slowly working towards finishing up that Manta. Even then, I wouldn't say he's ready to go, although...
Gabby gets caught out. Sonic Wave, it's not enough. He gets a Shadow Dance off, and now a huge Will-O-Wisp coming out from March, holding 4 of them in. For Rev, still being controlled up as Jocam, falling very, very low. The Will-O-Wisp has been stolen by the Rubik. It is holding back the side of TNC now, but Armel, he gets a Centaur. Now Miracle trying to go onto KP. He can't finish the job off. They'll go after Armel instead on the Bristleback. But there's just too much control, and by the way, Echo is still available. So Tims, he's looking for that really nice Echo. He may just go on to Miracle, who does morph into the ES, gets the Fisher off. Is it going to matter? Not quite. They have the pounce there from Gabby, and Armel is able to finish the job off. And it's just getting from bad to worse as their tier 2 bot tower is going to fall. That net worth lead is only going higher and higher for TNC.
Yeah, they've managed to really wrestle control away from T1. They've shut down this Morphling entirely. You're not going to be seeing too much impact from Miracle at this point. He just does not have the tools to get that done. He is very close to the Manta style. As mentioned, that's not going to be enough. He needs a lot more to get going, and you've gotten a lot out of Armel. That early laning investment has paid off big time. He is going to be working into his AC and Crimson Guard as well, which shouldn't take too long considering how fast he's been farming up and how little contestation there can be from T1. T1 has to try to find these fights a bit better. You need to find squishy targets in the back. Maybe go for March, even KP if you can, burst him down. And Tim's is probably the biggest one. His control is too much.
Dire's top tower has fallen.
Carmel, those quill sprays just spamming away.
Is under attack.
March just keeping him fueled up with that chakra magic. Meanwhile, Miracle, he does finally finish off a Manta style, but that's not exactly the answer you need yet. He needs a lot more than that.
Middle tower is under attack. Dire's
That
middle
tier 2 mid tower gonna go down. Meanwhile, in your dream, still trying to farm up an Orchid. Really not having as good of a game as you would have expected, considering the start he had. TNC now. Easy Roshan attempt. I don't even see T1 trying to really go after this Roshan counter.
No, they're not in position to, and they just don't have the tools to take a fight there. I think the big thing for T1 is that they really have no presence in teamfight. They've got this. They've got the AoE damage from IYD. They've got the Stampede, I suppose. We haven't seen the biggest turnarounds from Jokam. He has been trying. He's still full of Wisp. Used it to great effect a couple of times. It's just not enough so far from T1 to turn these engagements, and TNC is now very confident to just keep playing aggressive.
Paulison does get caught out on the Pugna. And, well, he has Decrepify. He'll delay things a little bit, but he's almost certainly going to go down. Tim's on the Earthshaker again, the one to pick it up. They just have full map control right now. Like, they TP up to the top outpost. In your dream, did spot it out, so he will at least run away in time. But Gabby is on the chase with his own Shadow Blade. In your dream, will show mid. It's just no fear. Just playing a game of cat and mouse between these two, and T1 is certainly the mouse right now.
They still need a lot more to get done here. I mean, you take a look at In Your Dream. As you mentioned, Orchid still trying to finish that up. He is just about 2 components away, so it's fairly close, but doesn't feel like it's getting there fast enough. Even then, the damage output's just not going to be enough to burst down any of these heroes. They've got solutions to that silence as well, as long as Gabby, for example, has a Dark Pack running beforehand, Orchid really won't do anything to keep that Slark in place.
Even having a look at over to Miracle, he's going for an Aghanim Scepter straight after the Manta. And I kind of question the same thing. Are they going to have enough damage going for that Ags build? We may not even have time to find out, as it looks like Forev has been caught out in the mid lane. Gabby with the pounce and Tim's with the Fisher, and now the Echo will just be onto 2 in the back lines, but Paulison very, very close to dropping here. In fact, he does, and now Jokam has nowhere to go. He does steal the Will-O-Wisp, but doesn't matter. It does not. They may be able to find a trade in Gabby, but no. It looks like Gabby will be able to get away. In Your Dream, still holding onto the Sonic Wave, as he didn't believe it was going to be enough anyway. And even if it was, the Slark has an Aegis. And so TNC, they will go to the high ground now. Nothing stopping them from this. Except the Fortify.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not too much T1 can really do. At the very least, that creep wave is held back. So, you know, they're not going to be having too much control after a point. Although, again, the side lanes are picking out anyway.
Dire's bottom barracks has fallen. Dire's bottom barracks has fallen. Radiant's turret has been killed.
T1. Gonna try and at least defend this mid-tier 3 tower. Crimson Guard will at least make it a lot harder for TNC to try and take this out. It's all a matter of just buying time. It looks like Miracle is just trying to force them back as best he can. In fact, Miracle has found quite a bit of gold in that small amount of time he had. He's very, very close to getting the full Ags upgrade. Could be enough with the Earthshaker. I still question it myself, but you never know.
I think the big issue for T1 with the Morphling is that if you are looking to morph into Tim's, he's always at the back. You never have vision of him. There's never an opportunity for Miracle to safely morph into him, get the combination off, get the damage out. It's just not there. This Ags should allow them a little bit more flexibility at the very least. You can morph into, say, the Queen of Pain, or you can morph into the Pugna for double Nether Ward to prevent a high ground push. That might be enough to dissuade them because their mana pool drops very fast. So that is something that T1 can play with, but I'm not sure if that's going to be enough just yet. Like, I don't see the damage output changing. I can still see the control from TNC playing a big factor here onto Miracle. He's still not going to be comfy to take the front lines in these fights. Still going to have to be very cautious in how these engagements go.
Tim's now with the Shadow Amulet up. Going to be going after that Shadow Blade on the Earthshaker. You see the Aegis now expiring on Gabby, so you won't have that available for your next high ground attempt. TNC may just play very carefully and wait out that next Roshan. T1 moving forward. Paulison in way too forward. Does get taken out.
I think he wanted to just ward up. Just wanted to get a bit more control for T1. He really needs an escort to get that done, though. Even then, that's just 2 heroes to clean up, I suppose.
He doesn't have buyback, but he will respawn in 17 seconds, but that is not going to be enough time. TNC happily going to take the mid-tier 3, may even get the rack, so the repair kit will come out. They're going to go after the Centaur forever. He is really not as tanky as you would hope. He will have to commit the Stampede to be able to get away from this. At least the repair kit is making it a very, very slow process for TNC. They are not able to claim that the Raxes, I'm trying to say, in the mid lane. They did get the tier 3. But you haven't got any space to farm here if you are T1. Like, you're just kind of stuck in the base.
They just don't have control on the map. There's no safe point for them to be at. There's nowhere that TNC can't jump them in. They have no vision on the map as well. TNC just has complete control on where T1 can be, and there's just nowhere to be. Miracle does have the Ags up, so you do have that Ags available for the morph. If you can somehow find the Shaker, that's going to be really useful for that. If not, you have the options of, again, just turning into the Pugna, spamming out those Nether Wards, if you so opt to. And the Nether Blast is nice for the pushing a wave, though, although there is a smoke now from T1.
There is, but, you know, finding that Earthshake is going to be that much harder now that he has a Shadow Blade on. Tim's obviously going to be very well aware that, you know, the Morphling will want to try and find him if he can. They'll smoke around in your dream. They'll try to bait out the side of TNC, and TNC is certainly moving their way down as Gabby will run in with the Shadow Blade, and he is actually underneath an Observer and Sentry, so they jump in your dream with the Orchid. Can they blow him up in time? They can, Gabby. That's a huge kill. And now Tims. They need to find this Earthshaker. Tims, he does get caught out and does die. And in fact, they have found another. Of course, it is March. You've got to find that Keeper of the Light. It wouldn't be a good team fight without one. And now Miracle, he does actually have the ES morph, so can start making a few plays with that, though it's not going to last too much longer. But you'd argue that is a very, very nice team fight if you are T1.
Yeah, I think one big thing that cost the TNC there was that I believe Gabby was playing drop hot potato with the gem. He was constantly dropping it on the ground and picking it back up, cycling through his inventory. That did give an opening for T1. He wasn't quite focused there. Is punished hard. And that does give T1 some breathing room now. Not a great amount. You know, it's not like they've turned the tide just yet. It's still a 14k deficit in favor of TNC, but they have managed to at least clear out that one tier 1 up top. They got a nice kill for their troubles, and they have a little bit of space to farm up in.
Could be dangerous for TNC though, giving that kind of space away. Like now you feel like you can actually try to defend Roshan the next time TNC goes for it, and while Armel's already been checking, the Roshan will be another 50 seconds away. And if you're T1, you almost certainly want to try and go for that counter. Like you can't really allow TNC to just pick it up. TNC, they're just going to hang around that Roshan pit. They're not taking any risks. Just going to make sure they know exactly when it's up. Yeah, in the meantime, Armel's going to have an Abyssal Blade up very, very soon, which is going to make In Your Dreams life a lot harder. In fact, In Your Dreams been caught by a pounce. Gabby going to find a solo pick-off onto the Queen of Pain, and Miracle, who's stuck around, may be in trouble as well, as Tim should have spotted him out. The TP away, Miracle, does he make it? They won't find him. They didn't have the vision of the TP happening.
Dire's courier has been killed.
They get the courier at least, though, mid lane. I thought they may have been trying to go after Armel on the Bristleback, but then again, it is Armel on a Bristleback. They won't bother even trying.
Yeah, just way too big of a target, and really good punishment coming out from TNC, just removing some of that confidence from T1, punishing out that very far movement from IYD. That does allow them to go into the rush as well. They do need a Queen of Pain around to contest that. That highly mobile here is needed for that, and this is just going to be basically a free rush. Going away with TNC's second rush of the game, so that's the cheese up as well. And I don't know how you're going to deal with this. That's potentially the cheese on Armel, Aegis on Gabby. You cannot deal with a second life on any of these heroes.
You certainly can't. But they have to. Gabby will have the Aegis, Armel will take the cheese. And an immediate smoke from TNC. This could be the end of the game coming out. They just need one successful team fight. There's really not many buybacks available on the map right now. In fact, the only people that do have buyback is In Your Dream and Miracle. Gabby gonna find the Rubik. Nice vision coming out from Tims. They just want to get rid of